Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. It's Ameen here with Muslim CEO, and today I wanted to share a big mistake a lot of people make when advertising on Facebook, and that is not spending enough. Okay, we've worked with clients in the past where they wanted to promote something, let's say in this case it was a webinar. They wanted to sell a certain program they had, and we suggested you do a webinar. They thought, okay, yeah, we'll do a webinar. And they said, how are you going to get people on that webinar? And then they don't really know. So then we said, okay, you've got your email list, and you should also spend a certain amount of money on advertising. And whenever we would say this to them, they would always say, okay, that's fine, but we only want to spend $100, $200 on this advertising. And then we would go back to them, we would say, okay, what result are you expecting from this webinar? What are you hoping to achieve with it? What kind of sales are you hoping to achieve with it? And they might, they bring out the big numbers at that point. They might say, oh yeah, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 from one webinar. And then we say, okay, let's do the maths, right? Are you actually spending enough to get that result? If you could expect that it would cost you X amount to get somebody onto your webinar, right? Then you need this many people, and where are you going to get them from? Your list isn't big enough to generate that, so you're going to need to invest more in advertising, right? So that's something that we've seen quite often. Another reason to spend more in advertising, even in the initial phase, and when I say more, I mean around starting from $1,000 a month. That's US dollars. That's something that I would, begin with. And why? Why is it though, right? Because Facebook is great in the fact that it allows you to spend up, $5 or less. You could start your spend at $5 a day, right? It allows you to do that, and that's great. We don't have to go out and buy billboards. We can turn it off whenever we want, right? But the thing is, for Facebook to do its job and for it to optimize and for it to get you the best result, and for you to feel satisfied that you've tested enough audiences and enough different types of ads, you should spend around that $1,000 mark a month. And when I say spend $1,000, I don't just mean spend it all on one audience and one ad. No, the whole premise is that you're spending that $1,000 only because you're testing a lot, especially in the beginning. You're testing a lot, and therefore you're trying to discover what resonates with your audience and what generates results, which audience and which ad generates results. That's why we need to spend more, because we need to split the budget between all these different tests, all these different variables that we're discovering. We're discovering what they will do for us, if they'll generate results or not. Okay, so that's a reason to spend more. If you don't test, you won't know, right? And you'll be stuck. Unless you hit a gold mine with the first thing that you test, the first thing you try with that low budget, unless you hit a gold mine, then it's not going to work for you. And then you just think Facebook advertising doesn't work for me, okay? So if you spend enough and you split that budget between enough variables and you test them all, now you can come up with a reasonable conclusion to, okay, this worked, this didn't, or this didn't work at all, or all of this. You can actually come to a reasonable conclusion because you've spent enough money. Hope you understood that. Hope that was clear. If you want our free training, amazing free training from my colleague Mohammad, then check out the link below this video. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.